Welcome to my class. In continuation with Unit 2, we are doing collection, organization and presentation of data. We finished with the collection, we finished with the organization of data. In presentation of data also we finished with the textual, the tabular, and we are doing the diagrammatic. In diagrammatic there were two types, one-dimensional diagrams, that is bar diagram, and the other one is pie diagram, or the circular diagrams. So just have a look. This is what we are going to do. Circular pie diagrams are circular diagrams. Now pie diagram is divided into various segments. So just have a look. I've just written down a few things. So they are divided into various segments showing the percent values of a series. This diagram does not show absolute values. And there are certain steps that you have to follow to do this. The first step is the absolute values of the series are converted into percent values. So that's the first step. And the second step is to then draw the circle. And we know that I just showed you that. And then we will mark out the segments. Then we mark out the segments with the help of the protractor. So we mark out the segments with the help of a protractor this way. Okay, and you know that a circle has how many degrees? 360 degrees. So that's what we work out, and then we distribute it, say, in a clockwise way. For you to understand, what do we do? Let's take this. Okay, so this is a diagram. This is a table in which we've shown family expenditure. So we've shown food, clothing, rent, other expenditures. Remember that we did the component bar diagram. In that we showed two families. I've taken up the one family, and you're going to show, instead of a subdivided bar diagram, we are doing what is known as a percentage bar diagram. What we are doing is showing the same data in a pie diagram. So what do? We first convert it into percentage. Now food is out of this is a family expenditure of family A. So in food they spend around 6,000. So 6,000, and the total expenditure is 15,000. So out of the 15,000 spends 6,000 on food. That works out to be 6,000 divided by 15,000 into 100. That comes to 40%. Clothing 4,500. Again we work out the percentage. It comes to 30%. Rent, again 3,000 upon 15,000 into 100. It comes out to be 20%. And other expenditure, so that is 1,500. So and so on. So first, in the first column are the absolute values, the absolute expenditure, which is shown in rupees, and that comes to 15,000. In the second column you see percentage. So how have we worked out the percentage? I've given out there. So that comes out to be 100%. And important thing now, because it has to be shown in the circle, so we're going to convert it into degrees. So say 100%, see 360 degrees there are. 360 upon 100 is equal to 3.6 degrees. So 1% is equal to 3.6 degrees. So that's how we work out the degrees of food, clothing, rent and other expenditures. So is that clear? So when we work out this, then what we have to do is we're going to present the data in the form of this pie diagram. And in the pie diagram, then we make what we do is each component is differentiated from one another by using different colors or shades, and an explanatory label, as you see, is shown on the top. Like you can see which color represents food, which color represents clothing, rent and others. Alright, so once again, Um, let's just note that the data represented by a component bar diagram can also be represented equally well by a pie chart. The only requirement is that the absolute values of the components have to be converted into, say, percentage and then into degrees, so that we can show them in a form of pie diagram. It seems very attractive. So once again, how do? We made this circle, then we converted the values of the various components into percentage values of the total, and then they were converted into corresponding degrees in the circle. Okay, and the angle of the center of the circle is 360 degrees, so the angle represents the total value of the variables, as we see that the total expenditure of a family. So here we have 4 components with this value, as we've seen, as say 144 degree, or that 40%, 30%, 20 and 10%. So we converted them into degrees: 144 degree, 108 degree, then 72 degrees and 36 degrees. So that comes to 360 degrees. So the degrees of every component of the circle can also be found without their percentage values as under. If you just take the degree of the component is equal to the value of the component upon total value into 360, and that's how also you can work it out. So after having drawn the circle, we've got to draw the radius, preferably horizontal. Now with this radius as a baseline, just pay attention, with this radius as a baseline, as an angle at the center, with the help of the protractor, which we call also the D. We call this D, protractor. Okay, so with this help, we just place it on the horizontal line, and that's how we start measuring. So the new line is drawn at the center to form this angle, will touch the circumference. The sector so obtained will represent the proportion of the first component. And again, once you've got the first component, from this the second line as base, now draw another angle at the center equal to the degree represented by the second component to give the sector representing the proportion of the second component. And then again, touching base over there, you keep on drawing those lines, and that's how we make a perfect pie diagram, and then we color them just to differentiate the colors. Okay, so I'm sure you will enjoy doing it. Do an exercise, go to my classes at the back, there's a component bar diagram. So based on that, make another pie chart.